Hey guys, tonight we journey into a world long on distant horizons and shimmering starlit paths where the night sky is your map and the ocean is your road. You are about to embark on a voyage unlike any other, guided not by compasses or charts, but by the age-old memories of daring Maori navigators who set out across the vast, glittering Pacific with only the heavens to guide them. Imagine the courage required to trust your fate to the stars, knowing a wrong turn means more than finding yourself in a dodgy neighborhood. It could mean drifting endlessly, with nothing but water for company. You probably won't survive this unless you've memorized enough constellations. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, why not drop your location and local time in the comments below? Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The familiar warmth of a dim fire flickers against the inside of a straw-thatched hut. You sit cross-legged on the woven matting spread over the hard-packed earth, breathing in the earthy scent mingled with the smoke from the evening meal. Around you, the whispers of waves can be heard through the cracks in the walls. You listen intently, heart rhythmically swelling, with the calls of the deep blue expanse lying just beyond your small village, a vast ocean teeming with mystery and promise. A voice rich and measured begins to weave a tale into the shadows of the room. It's the voice of your mentor, an elder navigator, sharing stories that have been passed down through generations. His words carry you beyond the hut and out to the boundless waters where stars punctuate the night like a field of silver flowers. You can see them now, crowning the sky with a delicate luminance. Remember, he murmurs, the stars are your brothers, constant and knowing. Trust them, and they'll lead you home. You raise an eyebrow, trying to scan the sky for any sign of a helpful brother, let alone a dozen cousins. The stars blink back nonchalantly, each one just twinkling casually, as if to say, yeah, we've got this. The elder stories tell you that long before compasses, the Polynesians traveled distances unthinkable, crossing the vast Pacific with only their knowledge of the heavens, ocean, swells, and swinging tides. A sudden sound from outside, a bird rustling through the flora, brings you out of your reverie, reminding you of where you are. The tohunga, or navigator, sketches unseen maps into the air, tracing the paths of constellations with a knowing finger that ribbons through the smoke. Historians still debate whether these early explorers were inspired by an unyielding spirit of adventure, or if necessity drove them to the sea, searching for new land and sustenance where there seemed to be none. Either way, you marvel at their audacity. Not exactly the kind of people who would read pamphlets in a travel agency to decide on a comfy beach resort, you think with a smile. In this moment, you can almost smell the salty air and hear the lullaby of waves, a sound-fast sea holding its breath in gentle anticipation. You let your mind drift towards one particular voyage of a famed navigator, Kupe, said to have sailed from Hawaii and discovered a land shrouded in mist, the islands known today as New Zealand. Whether by choice or compulsion, Kupe's voyage is one of myth and history, entangled like vines around an ancient tree. It makes you wonder if perhaps all great tales are born from such tangled truths. And there you are imagining yourself alongside Kupe at the helm of a Waka Hurua, the double-hulled canoe slicing through the living sea. It is both a fortress and refuge, its wooden framework alive with the collective memory of 100 generations. You touch the slick wood gently and it seems to pulse with an unseen heart. Lush sails billow overhead, woven from flax fibers thickened with the sun and sweat. A smile tugs at the corners of your lips as you picture yourself leaning against the sleek prow, adjusting the sail while casting fleeting glances skyward. It's a wonder anyone knows what they're doing, you reflect, while noting the formidable intricacies involved, like the direction of the winds and the rhythm of the swells that whisper secrets only the sea seems to understand. Here on this open ocean, time feels both infinite and instantaneous. Your mind flits between the present journey and the history swept along by the water's edge, carrying tales of ancestors long past. There's a joke among some of the crew, a shared secret grin that the Pacific isn't just an ocean, it's a storyline. And each journey is but a chapter written across its surface. Anchored in this mystical moment, the sound of your own heartbeat merges with the hum of the ancient ocean as it ebbs and flows eternal and unwavering. You look up, letting the light of countless stars wash over you like a soft lullaby from the cosmos. Each point of light sewn into the fabric of sky and story, a tapestry of dreams and reality merging at the edge of night. The elder's voice begins to blend with the ambient serenity. You close your eyes, feeling the energy of the narrative entwine around you like a warm blanket. It's then you understand. This isn't about getting lost, it's about finding your place among the stars and letting them guide you home, both literally and metaphorically. You stand at the edge of the water, feeling the cool ocean breeze against your cheeks. The rhythmic sound of waves is soothing, a gentle lullaby that calls you towards the horizon where the sun dips beneath the sea. You are here to embark on a journey aboard a waka, a voyaging canoe like no other, carrying the very essence of your people's past and future. As you step onto the waka, the solid wood of its deck feels reassuring against your bare feet. It's more than just a vessel. It's a floating library, a keeper of stories as old as the stars. Each beam and board holds the weight of generations, whispered secrets carried by the guiding winds. Soft conversations float around you among the crew and fellow travelers. You overhear an elder recounting tales of ancestors who navigated the vast ocean by watching the flight of birds, interpreting the shape of clouds, and reading the stars like an open book. You wonder if you'd ever be able to read the sky with such wisdom. Historians still debate whether these navigational legends are myth or mastery, but to you tonight they feel like truth. A light touch on your arm brings you back to the present. A fellow voyager smiles, gesturing towards a beautifully carved panel. The intricate designs are more than decoration. They are a family tree etched in wood, linking each person aboard to the shared history of your tribe. Names and stories are interwoven into the artwork, eternally bound to the vessel that carries them. Here on the open sea, they are protected from the passage of time. You find a spot to sit, your fingers tracing the carvings while the waka sways gently beneath you. Above, stars begin to peep out one by one like old friends come to guide you on this night's journey. You remember a saying about the stars. They are the footprints of great ancestors lighting the way. You can't help but chuckle at the thought that some ancestor might joke about needing a celestial GPS today. As the night deepens, the captain, an elder with eyes as sharp as a hawk's, begins chanting a prayer. His voice is a deep, comforting rumble that rolls over the soft rustling of the sea. The prayer is an invocation for safe passage, for protection from the elements, and for the ancestors' watchful eyes. You close your eyes, letting the calming words wrap around you like a warm blanket. The sound of the waka slicing through water is the only reply needed. Beside you, a gentle song begins to rise, passed from one voyager to the next, a quiet but powerful reminder of the unity that binds everyone here. The melody is both ancient and alive, offering reassurance in its familiarity. It's as if the waka itself hums along, resonating with the history it holds. Flashes of memory from the stories you've been told flood your mind, images of previous journeys on this same waka, undertaken under different skies and with different voyagers. You wonder if they felt the same reverence and wonder at the vastness of the ocean, or if they too searched the night sky for wisdom. As the waka glides steadily through the darkened sea, you find a moment of stillness. The water stretches endlessly in every direction, a silvery plain under the watchful gaze of the moon. It's a humbling sight, reminding you that no matter how far you travel, you are always a part of something much larger. Someone offers you a handful of berries, a small but welcome gift to stave off the evening chill. You thank them and wonder aloud whether these little snacks are enough to truly quell both hunger and an existential crisis at sea. Laughter twinkles like stars among the group around you. The night wears on, and a gentle fatigue seeps into your bones. The rocking motion of the waka, the low hum of conversation, the distant call of a nightbird, they all conspire to lull you towards sleep. You lean back, supported by the carved figures of your ancestors behind you, and let your eyes drift shut. In this quiet moment, you feel yourself becoming part of the waka's living archive, another soul among the stories it carries. To the trained eye and skin, the sea tells stories. You stand on the deck of a weather-beaten ship, feeling the wooden boards sway gently beneath your feet, a constant reminder of the ocean's depths below. The salty breeze brushes your face, bringing with it the subtle scent of kelp and distant shores. Leaning against the railing, you watch the water's surface. Ripples scatter like whispers upon a breeze, each one speaking of hidden reefs below. It's almost as if the sea has its own secret language. You remember an old sailor who once told you, between hearty guffaws and the slap of a deck mop, that he could hear the sea's tales just by listening with his skin. "Swells, my boy," he had said, with an exaggerated wink. "Mean islands nearby." And the currents. Well, they'll lead you right back home if you know how to listen, that is. Your fingers trace the ship's rail, absent-mindedly sensing the tales imbued into its grain, like residual echoes of journeys past. You wonder if the old sailor ever got lost, or if his confidence in reading the sea was as unshakable as he claimed. It's both comforting and unnerving to think of the water beneath you as a living narrative, one that might at any moment choose to shift its plot without warning. You probably won't survive this, he had joked, if you aren't paying attention. The ship rocks gently, and you close your eyes, letting the rhythmic motion lull you. Behind your eyelids, images of ancient mariners unfurl their sails, setting out from bustling ports, filled with shouts and vibrant colors. You're reminded of the Greek sailors who ventured from familiar shores in search of knowledge and trade. Ancient maps filled with serpentine coastlines and mythical warnings dance in your mind's eye, their creators' best guesses, a mix of observation, hearsay, and imagination etched onto parchment. From those maps emerge legends of lands rich with gold and exotic spices, which drove many an expedition into the unknown. Your thoughts drift to the unexpected bits of history seldom found in textbooks. Did you know that during the age of exploration, sailors considered citrus a miracle cure? During long journeys, limes and lemons became treasures more valuable than gold, warding off the dreaded scurvy that lingered like a phantom over every ship's manifest. It's funny how a fruit can hold the power to save lives at sea. Something so commonplace today was once a seafarer's salvation. Historians still debate whether it was the allure of wealth or the quest for adventure that truly pushed the limits of 15th century navigation. Experts are not quite in agreement, as it seems humans always have an insatiable need for tales, even when mere conjecture. Perhaps you wonder, was it the salty yearning in their souls, or just the promise of new lands that spurred them into the horizon's embrace? Blind to the dangers that awaited, your musings are interrupted by the sound of laughter, a playful reminder of your present surroundings, as a fellow sailor teases another about the knot they can't untie. Can't even get it right in the third try, comes a jest. You smile softly, the camaraderie here, an echo of countless voyages past and destined. Still at the railing, you admire the ever-changing surface of the sea. It's an endless canvas, painted in shades of blue and green, shifting with the light. As the sun dips towards the horizon, golden streaks fan across the water, and you feel a sense of wonder at being part of a history that spans centuries. You become aware of the gentle pull of a current against the ship's hull, a tactile nudge that suggests a shift in direction. In your mind, you map out the path home as invisible as the air, yet as vital as the wind filling your sails. There is reassurance in this unseen guidance, as if the ocean herself compels you safely onwards. A shout goes up, a call to arms, against the gathering darkness of the approaching night. You turn, seeing sailors bustle as they prepare to stow sails, secure loose lines, and settle in for the journey ahead. It's a dance rehearsed so many times that each step is effortless and fluid, a reminder of the choreography that history unfolds upon the decks of such vessels. The sun finally slips beneath the horizon, leaving the world bathed in a deep indigo studded with evening stars. You watch the shimmer of the Milky Way, a cosmic river guiding mariners towards their destinies since time immemorial. A guide both ancient and steadfast, Leading wanderers through the shifting tides of fate and fortune, you exhale slowly, shoulders relaxing against the railing as the night's song envelops you. The melody of the ship upon the water, the murmur of the crew, and the whispered stories of the sea. There's comfort in this moment, a shared history, connecting you to the countless souls who have gazed upon these very heavens, yearning for guidance and finding solace in the simple constancy of the stars. As the night deepens and the stars continue their slow arc across the sky, you let yourself sink into this maritime lullaby. The sea's stories and your own interwoven across the tapestry of time, whispering promises of home and the adventures yet to come. Drifting through the expanse of the endless ocean, your senses awaken to the boundless whispers of the sea. You are aboard a traditional waka, orua, a double-hulled canoe, crafted meticulously by the hands of your ancestors. The deep indigo sky envelops you, the stars your ancient guides igniting a celestial map across the heavens. Today, the horizon is not just a line where the sky meets the ocean. It's a vast library filled with lessons waiting to be discovered. Your eyes scan the glittering canvas where Orion's belt tilts majestically. Each star aligns like the notes of a serenade, beckoning your spirit to follow their mystical arrangement. You can almost hear the hum of a distant ukulele playing a sound as gentle as the ocean breeze against your skin. The world is liquid beneath you, the ocean breathing softly, rocking the vessel like a mother's cradle. Venus shines bright as it slides into position for the night, its angle whispering secrets of direction and course, a luminous breadcrumb that guides your journey westward. It's just you, the celestial dancers above, and the rhythmic lapping of waves below. You chuckle softly to yourself, knowing that your GPS wouldn't know what to do out here. Historians still debate whether the first Māori navigators regarded each star with the same reverence they gave to their treasured talismans. You imagine them faces lifted to the heavens as they absorbed the cosmic ballet with wonder and awe. Perhaps they question the same things you do, shrouded in the mysterious ambiance of eternity that lies between the stars. Towering above the horizon is Temerama, the moon, a celestial body that wraps the night in a fragile silver glow. Its arc reveals the stories etched into famed Maori lore, a beacon not just of light, but of narrative woven through generations. It shifts in its phases, casting delicate shadows that dance over the ocean waves. Your hands rest on the edge of the canoe, feeling the worn wood's texture, a testament to its many voyages across these stirring waters. You can almost hear the stories absorbed into its grain tales of bravery, discovery, and occasionally an oar misplaced and lost to the deep. You raise your head slightly, inhaling the salty air that invigorates your senses fully alive in this interplay of history and night. You wonder if your ancestors appreciated these quiet moments, if they had a mental catalog of jokes about getting lost under Orion's belt. Far on the horizon, faint specks of clouds resemble distant land, a mirage, or a promise. The anticipation of discovery wraps around your heart, tugging it in a mixture of longing and excitement. It's in these moments of waiting that time seems to stretch like the distant drum beats that echo your heartbeat. Suddenly a voice breaks the stillness. Look there. It's Te Arata, a fellow navigator, who seems at home beneath the open sky. You follow his gesture as he points toward the Southern Cross, cradled in the curvature of the vast night, a stellar compass guiding your thoughts toward the destination. His smile is barely visible in the moonlight, but you can feel the warmth of camaraderie, a shared bond in this fluid wilderness. It's easier when they don't hide behind the clouds. You quip, earning a soft laugh from Te Arata. You share a quiet moment where the only sound is the gentle slap of water against the hull. Tonight the wind is your confidant, a whispered reassurance that you are not alone. Its touch is gentle like a lullaby, swaying you in your thoughts. The world narrows down to this single night, a singular thread of time, among countless others woven over the ages. You could swear you hear a distant gull's call, but perhaps it's just the wind's trickery. The horizon stretches infinitely, a reminder of the path yet traveled and the stories untold. You marvel at how your ancestors turned this seemingly limitless expanse into their roadmap, reading the sea and sky with a clarity that defies the imagination. Did they dream under these same stars, feeling the same cold salt air combing through their hair? Every whisper of the night draws you further into the comforting embrace of the past, a history alive in each ripple on the ocean surface. The Waka sails onward, a floating library, with no walls filled with tales, more vivid and eternal than any penned on parchment. Here you find solace and purpose, knowing you're just one of many who have journeyed under this vast starlit canopy. The conversation with the ocean grows softer, the murmurs of the waves more intimate as the night deepens. It's as if the sea is recounting the myths of creation, speaking the language of currents and tides, all the while steering you toward your destination. You exhale the salty wind, mingling with your breath, carrying it to the heavens. There on the boundary between earth and sky, the lines between history and the present dissolve, leaving only the symphony of stars and water. As your gaze returns skyward, you wonder with a sleepy grin if the creatures of the deep had a good chuckle watching you navigate without a waterproof map. In this ethereal world, the horizon is more than a destination. It is an invitation to dream, to explore, and to find your place in the woven tapestry of time and tide. With each wave that laps against the hull, and every celestial signpost that hangs in the heavens above, you are cradled in the comforting knowledge that even if the sun were to vanish beneath the waves, the stars would still show their eternal dance guiding you back home. As you stand at the wooden deck of the familiar ship, a gentle sea breeze whispers, promises of adventure urging you forward into the haze of another dreamlike evening. The waters stretch infinitely before you, a vast expanse of calming indigo, broken only by the soft silver shimmer of the moon that guides your way. Tonight, your heart races with the silent thrill of anticipation, a shared secret among travelers bound for distant shores. You let your mind wander to the early explorers who took their cues from these clever avian scouts. Did they rest easy in the knowledge that such guides existed, or was there always a flutter of doubt, a question lingering like sea mist about their chances given the risks inherent in their journeys, historians still debate whether early mariners fully understood how to trust these messengers of the sky. Some journeys, you suspect, might have thrived solely on optimism and the occasional well-placed guess. Underneath the starlit canopy, the gentle rocking of the ship lulls you into a deeper contemplation. You wonder if once explorers laughed as heartily as you do now at the thought of following birds into the unknown, trusting that birds of all things would reveal something so crucial as land. Was it a leap of faith or desperation that prompted those first ventures seaward? Perhaps they too peered over their wooden railings into the same abyss curiosity, mingling with the salty bite of the sea air on their faces. A subtle chuckle slips past your lips at the thought trusting a bird with your life and potentially your livelihood. It's curiously humbling, really, a realization that beside all technological triumphs, nature quietly endows its own wise resolve. Maybe it's no different than finding solace in the unassuming signs of life, like a distant plume of frying smoke. Amid these reflections, the sound of soft footsteps on wood creaks towards you, another seeker sharing the night's watch at your side. Can you believe we're basing everything on what those birds might sense? Comes a voice edged with wry amusement and shared wonder, grounding you back in the present. You exchange a quiet nod and a half smile, a silent agreement that there's little else to do but embrace this unlikely companionship of both birds and fellow adventurers on this meandering odyssey. You affirm quietly, well, it's not every day one trusts a gannet over a guidebook, but here we are. The shared laughter with your newfound companion is soothing a sonorous blend into the rhythmic lullaby of waves kissing the hull. As the dialogue fades into companionable silence, a thought sprouts unbidden in your mind. Would the people back home fathom such reliance on something so airy and intangible? Just like the convergence of 5 roads at the heart of an ancient city, these birds signal the converging of realms, the tactile reality of land, and the whispering dreams of the sea adventured upon. It strikes you that perhaps not all discoveries need footsteps to be forged. Sometimes it's simple things, that laughable leap of faith, claiming islands forgotten by cartography and time. Just like that imaginative promise of land upon sighting gulls, your thoughts cruise further into realms uncharted as you peer into the growing glow of morning ahead. The moon dips toward the horizon, its silver glint replaced slowly by the warmth of dawn's rays unfurling across the expanse. Your world narrows to a horizon etched with promise, a blend of sea songs and winged choreography, etching silent stories of distance. Your journey, led by these steadfast harbingers, stretches out, a borderless whisper of both ancestors and air alike clamoring for belief in what is beyond. As daylight patiently inches closer, embracing the silhouette of shorelines, the promise of landing, you know that whether it be laughter or wisdom, this journey will be storied not just across lands found, but in fellowship discovered, and the sky dances yet unwritten that lie far beyond. With each breath, your heart eases, aligning with the gentle optimism of your avian guides, each more familiar than the last. Beneath the early promise of dawn carved deeply into the seaward horizon, a new story beckons, and you find yourself ready to embrace whatever it may reveal. A greenish glow on the sea beckons you to approach, hinting at a lagoon cradling mysteries from another time. You drift above the waters, your fingertips brushing the cool, salty air as the whispers of long-forgotten mariners seem to echo through the gentle lapping of the waves. Towering clouds loom nearby, casting shadows that dance across the water like ghostly sails, promising that tall islands rise just beyond your view. The air smells faintly of adventure, a mix of salt and something sweeter, perhaps the scent of 1,000 exotic spices, mingling invisibly reminiscent of old trade routes. You wonder if sailors in the ancient past found this sight as comforting as you do now, a sign that land and rest were near. Historians still debate whether the legendary navigators of old used stars, wines, or something more mysterious to guide their paths. But under this serene night sky, you're inclined to believe that it was a little of everything. With a soft chuckle, you think to yourself, hey, if they could find their way without a GPS, surely I can find my way through tonight's journey. Your gaze is drawn to thin lines of haze trailing lazily into the distance. Could it be a distant atoll, marking the boundary between the known and the unknown? Smile quirks on your lips as you imagine the ancient explorers stumbling upon such a sight, perhaps with the same mix of curiosity and trepidation stirring in your heart. As you continue on this gentle narrative tide, the waves softly cradling you, a story begins to unfold from the swirls of history and imagination. You can almost hear the soft murmur of a crew discussing whether an atoll's promise of land and refuge was a mirage or a boon. Maybe they argued over it like we debate pineapple on pizza today. You muse, smirking at the thought. The calm seas offer a mirror to reflect upon discoveries yet to be made. You anchor your thought on an unusual tidbit. Did you know that sailors of old said seagulls could predict storms? You nod to yourself, acknowledging the wisdom of nature that humankind sometimes forgets to heed. Further along, a soft breeze rustles past your ear, a gentle call from the distant shores. It's a siren song luring you closer, warm and persuasive. You'll probably be just fine. You remind yourself a little sleep-deprived bravado amid the tranquil water. You let out a breath. A slow exhalation settles your shoulders, relaxing into the story. The legacy of sailors, explorers, and dreamers unfurl within the invisible path you travel tonight. You imagine them watching these same starry skies, feeling this same whispering breeze. Amidst this calm, the unexpected seems wonderfully welcome. The sea is full of surprises, and so is this tale. Remember, even those old mariners didn't always know where they were going, but they kept sailing anyway, trusting their instincts. You too can drift forward into this night, exploring the narrative seascape, feeling the weight of history as a comforting presence by your side. So now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You find yourself aboard a great wooden longship, the hull dipping elegantly with each swell of the ocean. The salty air drapes over you like a rugged, familiar cloak as thin beams of early dawn light stretch across choppy waters. It's a time when legends whisper beneath the oar-carrying winds, and you're part of something thrilling and slightly dangerous. You know those historical tales where you probably won't make it past the first few pages, right? But that's not tonight. Here you join a crew, a hardy collective of rowers, each moving in synchronized rhythm, dictated by an ancient melody, melodic and primal. Their voices rise and fall. This is not a casual sing-along. Each chant matters. It keeps the pace, marks the distance, and some say even placates the ocean spirits. You hear the throaty hums beginning again, a signal that all is as it should be. Trick is, if the chanting stops, well, let's say you'd rather not find out. Historians suggest these chants varied by region, and no two crews sang quite the same song. Little wonder, with so many tongues and tribes scattered across these lands, it's like karaoke night at a convention. Yet when oars dip and pull as one, there's a rare harmony, an unspoken bond shared across miles of treacherous unknown. Your hand rests on the side, brushes against rough timber. You consider that not much has changed when it comes to travel. The best journeys require good company and a solid tune or two. You exhale slowly, the rhythm seeping into your bones, and acknowledge, albeit reluctantly, why silence might speak louder than the crash of waves. You overhear a faint conversation between rowers beside you. "Reckon we'll see land soon," one inquires, throwing a hopeful glance into the misty horizon. His companion, older and presumably wiser, chuckles. "Not if you stop," he replies dryly, to which a smattering of tired laughter ripples down the line. It's odd how quickly one can feel at home in such an alien setting. Here the sea is both guardian and gauntlet. Historians still debate whether these voyages were always so perilous, or if those who returned simply loved to embellish a tale. Experiencing it firsthand, you suspect the truth is somewhere in between. The soft lap of water against the sides of the vessel forms a gentle counter-rhythm to the chants. Sea spray mists your face as you adjust your footing, remembering to keep your mind focused and your heart light. A glance at your fellow travelers' faces, etched by sun and wind, some whispered pasts exchanged in knowing looks, reassures you that this tranquil moment, suspended between the echoes of the past and the shadowed future, is a shared venture. The sun sits higher, now warming scenes into view, revealing endless stretches of foamy crests and endless skies, nature's very own wraparound cinema. You take a moment to smile at the irony. It's a beautiful day for a mysterious sea adventure. A lively gull swoops low, eyeing the ship with casual indifference. You idly wonder if they too understand the chants. Rows of oars, like appendages of a great sea creature, continue their rhythmic dance beneath the watchful gaze of the helmsman. His brow furrowed yet peaceful, as if his internal compass leads him by instinct. You admire his calmness, knowing every chant, every pull, every heartbeat is mapped in his mind. Perhaps it's an ancient gift, passed from seafarer to seafarer, the wisdom of tuned winds and whispered tales. The cadence shifts slightly, a subtle reminder that the sea demands respect. These timeless melodies are a sailor's heartbeat. Closing your eyes, you breathe deeply, the stories carried by winds, allowing the lull of history to rock you into a softer state of courage and reverie. Anyway, doubts dissolve over the horizon as the crew raises their voices again, anchoring you to this timeless rhythm, eyes fixed on the water's edge. For now, you let dreams sail alongside, like stowaway albatrosses, dancing in the breeze, a moment captured beyond the measure of time, where stories are sung in unison with the sea herself. The salty breeze envelops you as you stand at the ship's bow, the horizon painted in soft hues as day hesitantly meets dusk. There's a comfort in the rhythm of the waves, each rise and fall a gentle reminder of the endless dance of the ocean. You taste the salt on your lips, a subtle, familiar tang, and you realize that despite the vast expanse of water, there's a peculiar calmness to being adrift in such a vast world. Historians still debate whether sailors of old relied more on the stars or the seabirds. But tonight you rely on your senses, the ones you've honed through these endless voyages. A stronger scent of salt wafts over, causing you to wonder how far you are from land. The saltier the breeze, the farther from home. The captain once said, his voice resonating with the wisdom of countless journeys. You squat on the deck, feeling the sturdy wood under you roughened by elements and time, and trace the grain with your fingertips. You exhale slowly, allowing the coolness of the evening to wash over you, speaking in unsaid languages with the night. In such moments, you can't help but ponder if the navigators of history, those daring souls, really trusted these whimsical clues from nature. A shipmate nearby hums a tune, a nostalgic note that carries the weight of sailors before her. Does she too feel the pull of invisible islands lurking beneath the horizon's edge? A voice quiet yet firm interrupts your thoughts. Thinking too hard again. It's Cooper, ever the practical soul aboard this floatin' wonder. You chuckle, shaking your head. Just wondering if an island's playin' hide and seek nearby. His laughter is low, a rumbling warmth that cuts through the cool air. Isn't that the beauty of it? Always a surprise waiting. The story goes that back when people thought the world flat, they'd peer into the sea and spot mysterious lands appearing and vanishing like dreams at dawn. You imagine what it must have been like for those explorers sliding over the world's edge and discovering they were wrong. You feel their exhilaration in your heart, aligned with the pulse of the sea. In the distance, waves catch the last glimmers of light, each ripple a dancing muse, writing stories that sailors have sworn to memory through the ages. You spot a sudden swell, a shimmering dance of luminescent creatures pirouetting beneath the ship's hull. Bioluminescent plankton your mind notes, but your heart insists on calling them sea fairy lights. You wonder if magicians or scientists charted how many tales they inspired. The ship groans softly as it rides the waves, a reminder that you're cradled in the embrace of a remarkably old craft. These vessels were master strokes of architects, some might argue. Best we don't spill the beans about our little trick with the churned salt air. You whisper to yourself, marveling at this secretive companionship you share with the sea. Cooper, you call your voice barely more than a breath against the breeze. What's the secret to choosing the right path on such an uncharted course? His eyes narrow in mock contemplation before, offering a bemused smile. Who needs maps when you have your nose and a bit of whimsy? You pivot back over the railing, coaxing your gaze to stretch further eastward. Reality glimmers between shadow and light as always. Sailors have traced such paths long before the world knew Wi-Fi, or even books for that matter. You hum softly a quiet pact with the past, trust in the wind. Trust in the salt trust that somewhere beyond lay a destination. Historians continue to argue over nature's power over these cues, so deeply ingrained in the collective memory of oceanic travelers. But maybe it's the thrill of not knowing entirely the wonder just out of reach, invisible islands shrouded in mystery, the ghosts of adventures whispering through the salt-streaked winds. Hey. Cooper nudges you gently. Bet there's less salt in the air now. His grin is all mischief and maritime confidence. And as the scent of the ocean wanes, the idea of cloaked shores tickles the edge of your imagination. Nights like this, you're not just wandering waters, but embarking on a journey through time, enveloped in an ethereal tapestry woven by centuries. The wind teases your cheeks, a wordless lullaby, coaxing your thoughts towards dreams. You ease back, letting the wooden rail cradle your back, the sea as a lullaby's undercurrent. What secrets does the wind carry tonight? You close your eyes, letting the unanswered drift with the current, knowing that soon the salt will guide you home. You find yourself standing on the deck of a sturdy wooden ship that creaks and sways gently beneath your feet, its sails billowing against a sky brushed with the soft hues of dawn. There's a saltiness in the air that clings to your skin, carried by the whispering winds over the vast, endless expanse of the ocean. The sun peeks over the horizon, painting a golden path across the water, inviting you to follow its gleaming trail. You wonder for a moment how anyone manages to navigate such boundless open sea without GPS. It's a big blue mystery. Off to one side, an elderly sailor, lines of sun and salt etched deep into his face, crouches over a piece of wood. His gnarled hands work confidently, carving intricate symbols with a bone knife, a craft that's as much an art as it is a map. You're intrigued. Could these winding patterns really guide them through the labyrinth of waves and tides? Another sailor joins, unwinding a mat, intricately woven with seashells patterns, shimmering in the soft light like a star map crafted by the ocean itself. These tactile creations are their mnemonics, carrying oceans in the mind, even when the land doesn't seem to have any intention of reappearing on the horizon anytime soon. It's odd, isn't it? Craft and memory might actually keep you from being eaten by sea monsters. You chuckle at the thought, though the possibility is a bit too close for comfort. As you lean against the rail, the scent of the sea filling your lungs, a soft voice drifts through the warm air. It's one of the older crew members, his accent thickly salty, almost as thick as the curls peeking out from under his cap. "These old tricks, they're ancient," he says with a twinkle in his eye. "We trust the wood and shells more than any chart." Historians still debate whether these mnemonic devices were more art than accuracy. Indeed, they've never quite decided the difference between reaching your destination and washing up somewhere unexpected. You watch him intently as he explains how the curves and gaps tell tales of currents and winds markers only a seasoned sailor might understand. The ship rocks gently, and you feel yourself sway with it, comforted by its rhythm. The water laps softly against the hull, a soothing invitation to linger in this moment. The sun climbs higher, chasing the shadows from the corners of the deck, where they hide like shy creatures. Your mind drifts with the tide, imagining the ancient navigators who once charted these waters, perhaps guided only by stars, and the art of survival etched into wood. Did they worry about getting lost, or did they trust their tools and intuition? You feel a kinship with these voyagers who stared out at the open sea with a mix of fear, hope, and wonder. A gentle rumble in your stomach reminds you that even adventurers need breakfast. The cook calls out, inviting you to sit, with a piece of hardtack that tastes a bit like hope-dried bread. You bite into it cautiously, thinking that it might need some imagination or a lot of seawater to go down comfortably. Beside you, the chatter blends with the clinking of bowls and the soft thud of feet on the plank, creating music that seems to pulse with the very heartbeat of the ship. As the day unfolds, you catch glimpses of fish leaping from the shimmering waters, their scales flashing like silver coins tossed into the blue. You remember the wooden carvings and shell patterns, wondering if they could tell where the fish gather, perhaps another secret known only to the mind of the sailor in the sea. The ship sails on through the day, each wave. It cuts into whispering some ancient secret, hinting at lands uncharted by your own feet, but mapped in the wooden tales, resting in the hands of old mariners. It's in these moments that you appreciate the artistry and craft required to tame such a formidable world. Navigators of old, carrying oceans in their minds as surely as any star points north. Amidst jokes and laughter, the day passes like the gentle lap of the tide against the ship's side, unhurried and reassuring. The sun begins its descent, casting everything in a golden goodbye. You find comfort, knowing that these carvings and patterns connect you to generations past, reminding you of their courage and artistry etched into every wave crossed. In the fading light, someone asks if the night will bring fair winds. You smile and say, "Why not ask the shells?" It's met with a chuckle after all. Even bedtime can hold a little mystery wrapped in humor. You settle back against the railing, the ship cradling you with its soothing comfort as night unfolds like a sleepy sigh across the canopy of the sky. The story here is unending, etched in every breath of the wind and every movement of the stars, guiding you into a restful, gentle sleep as the world around you ever so warmly whispers good night. The traditions of your village start early. At the age of 5, you embark on a journey that is both daunting and exciting. It's a crisp morning, and the air smells of dew and distant fires. Your small feet pad softly on the worn path leading to the learning grounds. Pine trees line your way, their tops playing hide and seek with the sky. You wonder how many generations before you have taken these same steps. Your first lesson is about the clouds. You squint at the sky, trying to decipher the basilisk shapes your elders describe. See that an older boy jests, pointing to an indistinct fluff. Looks like my grandmother's stew when she's in a mood. You chuckle even if you don't quite get it. The elders speak of how each cloud has its story, swirling above, whispering secrets only those who truly listen can hear. Your young mind struggles with this mystery, your concentration frequently interrupted by the tempting thought of snacking berries just adjacent to the learning circle. The light humor in your teacher's voice lifts some of the morning's weight. Maybe one day you'll see a naiad up there telling us the weather, he smirks. Even at 5, you realize the gravity of these lessons. Clouds could bring life-saving rain or forebode a storm. Historically, weather patterns were as capricious as they were crucial, not unlike the fickle moods of the toddlers you babysit on occasion. The world feels vast and slightly frightening with its elements, waiting to either gift or gobble up your tinier pursuits. Evenings calm the village with a cool breeze as each family gathers for those sacred star chants. Stars overhead blink audaciously, each a spark in the tapestry your ancestors have woven through tales. You listen as your family hums, a tune passed down through time, each melody aiming to align with the stars' eternal dance. It's under this wide sky you find comfort. Perhaps one day you'll understand their stories as effortlessly as the elders do. Years pass like the rolling of seasons, and soon you're no longer that small child grasping at cloud shapes. By age 10, your intrigue drives you to ask questions that make the elders chuckle and your peers roll their eyes. What are they whispering, you ask, nodding towards the firmament? Your father clears his throat, launching into a tale about heavenly creatures, arguing over who spilled a milk jug, creating the Milky Way. A joke so old, it still brings a smile even today. Historians will continue to debate whether your ancestors truly believed in the sentient nature of stars, or merely used such tales as mnemonic devices. Nonetheless, the chants become your second language, filling the space between earth and sky, between your present and an ageless past. At 15, your role evolves. No longer just a listener, you're a participant in this ancient legacy. The village glows by firelight as you gather to practice intricate chants, each one a verbal map designed to navigate stories older than anyone can recall. The Tohunga, your wise and revered master, watches from his place, a seat of honor you've dreamed of attaining. It's on one of those firelit nights you first catch sight of him, giving a rare approving nod to another student. It's unsettling, yet intriguing, like the kind of smile you get when someone hands you a cup of lukewarm herbal tea, unexpectedly pleasant. The idea that by 20 you might find yourself beside him is both thrilling and terrifying. Certain days, you're confident, other times find you squinting at the sky, hoping the clouds will offer guidance. The Tohunga's seat is the pinnacle of knowledge and respect, an honor your community bestows on only the keenest of learners. As you approach 20, the learning grows rigorous. Absorbing each lesson, you're no longer just a vessel of lore, but an interpreter of nature's enigmas. Those days of casually glancing up at the clouds to discern shapes or wondering lazily about star stories are behind you. You give each day to this calling, knowing that one day, soon you might just earn the right to sit beside the Tohunga, quiet, yet full of history's echo. Now standing on this precipice of new beginnings, you can't help but steal a glance at those younger ones starting their adventure. Who knows, perhaps one day you'll be the one to tell them tales of clouds and stars, of truths and mysteries that span a lifetime. Presence is a gift, an utterly unique position in time and space that brings your attention to rest at the heart of now. Let this moment be your anchor as the gentle push and pull of the ocean cradles you under a canopy of starlit wonder. Life at sea is a delicate balance of challenges and discoveries. And tonight, as the salt breeze chills your cheeks, you find yourself in the company of the night crew, of navigators, voyagers from an era of great exploration. You settle into the rhythmic dance of the stars above and the steady pulse of the canoe beneath. Tonight is your night to learn the ancient art of celestial navigation. You haven't quite mastered checking the time by the stars or by any clock, truth be told, but out here, the constellations serve as your clock, your map, and maybe even your old friend with a penchant for arriving late. The senior navigator, an aged seafarer with a rough-cut charm you can't help but admire, points out each burning dot in the sky as if introducing you to an esteemed collection of friends. There's Orion, he whispers like it's the worst-kept secret in the universe. You nod along, grateful for his patience, while privately wondering if Orion ever misplaced his belt or just bravely chose a minimalist style. The night encircles you like a midnight quilt, edges sewn with the whispers of the sea and the soft, ever-present lull of the waves. There's a method to this starlit madness, or so they say. The positions of stars and their shifting patterns mark the passage of time and the canoe's course across the ocean. They rest, now stretched across the night, while you lie partially awake, contemplating eternity and whether or not you remembered to shut your off-world worries back on land. The ship's heartbeat continues a gentle thrum beneath your spine. It's reassuring, this ceaseless beat, like the earth itself is breathing beneath you. You feel it sync with your own pulse, meshing seamlessly with the celestial rhythm overhead. Historians still debate whether these navigational techniques were spread through deliberate design or sheer necessity elements taught and learned under duress and discovery whispers carried across oceans between generations. Yet here in this moment, the past isn't distant. You inhabit it, letting it wash over you like a cascade of stars. As the warm darkness enfolds the boat, you overhear a quiet exchange between two of the crew. They speak softly in a language you don't fully understand, but can appreciate. Their coats of stories are woven thick with ancestral threads, mysteries wrapped in practical knots. One of the crew chuckles, gesturing skyward, sharing a joke about the Southern Cross and its resemblance to a particularly stubborn donkey. You chuckle too, realizing that humor travels well across both time and distance. You imagine setting out on this journey centuries ago, using nothing but a sky full of stars and a hand-hewn canoe to conquer an endless, shimmering expanse. You begin to appreciate the sheer audacity and courage it took. Your respect for these quiet navigators deepens with each soft breath of the sea. Drifting into deeper waters of thought, you explore the quiet calm that lies here, a hush punctuated only by the occasional creak of the canoe's timbers. Your mind lazily traces the night sky, stitching together constellations into whimsical tales of your own making, and the warmth of each narrative sends your senses into a pleasant, sleepy spiral. Somewhere in the echo of these imagined tales, reality dips gently around you like the gradual dimming of an old lantern. Your eyes flutter gently heavy, with the promise of rest, and the night folds you into its soft embrace. The ocean rhythm lulls you, guiding you into slumber and into dreams that dance with stories of the past. Each dream sweeps through your dreams like a gentle breeze, whisking you to distant shores and familiar skies, where the weight of history seems lighter, borne away on gusts of imagination. You are unanchored now, a stowaway on the great voyage of discovery, already journeying with the stars before your eyes finally close. There's a peace within this moment, a knowing that in the grand scope of such voyages, you exist as one quiet presence inside a broader cosmos, linked to those who once looked up at the same stars, trusting them to guide them home. Slowly these thoughts melt away, not lost but distilled into a singular feeling of peace, as the journey lulls you nearer to rest, swayed by the timeless breaths of the world unfolding just beyond. In this cocoon of slumber, the constellation's map becomes less a guide and more a glittering lullaby, a chorus of twinkling dreams. Everything merges the sky and sea, past and present, until all is one beneath the vast and watchful sky. As the ocean unfolds in endless waves beneath a star-studded sky, you find yourself standing on an ancient wooden prow. The gentle sway of the sea is soothing, yet there's a hint of adventure in the breeze that touches your cheek. Tonight you're traveling paths once sailed by the great navigators of old, those who knew the ocean as well as you know your own backyard. Not all of these paths were equal, though. Some were Tapu sacred and reserved, solely for ceremonial journeys, where every ripple in the water carried whispers of the divine. Others, however, were cursed, a chilling prospect, when you consider that you probably wouldn't survive this. Perfect for a relaxing bedtime story, right? So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, why don't you tell us where you're tuning in from and what time it is over there? Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As you peer across the moonlit waters, it's easy to imagine the ancient navigators who braved these routes, their canoes gliding silently over the deep blue. In your mind's eye, you see them strong, focused, and guided by the stars. Imagine the sacredness of a Tapu sea path, one where ordinary travels turned into spiritual quests, where the very air seemed to shimmer with a touch of magic. Historians still debate whether these sacred paths were chosen due to favorable environmental conditions like currents and wind patterns, or purely for their mystical significance. But standing here enveloped in salty sea mist, you feel the mystical more than the practical. To your right in the distance, a faint glow outlines a distant volcano, its silhouette imposing yet comforting against the night sky. It's a reminder that these islands scattered jewels over the ocean were also believed to be the homes of gods. Their presence was both a guide and a guardian to those who dared the sea's vastness. You can't help but chuckle at the thought. Would the gods mind if you forgot your offerings, or would they demand a quick return to sender? Surely they'd appreciate your audacity for even attempting this journey. But not every path is touched by divine favor. Some were believed to be cursed, haunted by the spirits of those who navigated them poorly or not at all. If you squint just right, can you see those wraiths rising like mist where the sea meets the sky? Local legends talk of ghostly apparitions that drift over these waters, dragging swells of fog in their wake. As if these legends weren't pesky enough, superstitious seafarers would avoid these routes, convinced their ships would meet unnatural ends. Lucky for you, imaginary specters aren't much of a concern. Or are they? A shiver runs down your spine and you can't tell whether it's from the chill night breeze or the eerie tales themselves. A gentle wave taps the side of your vessel, its rhythm echoing the heartbeats of innumerable sailors who once followed these very waters. You exhale slowly, noticing how the tension in your shoulders eases away, leaving behind a serene calmness. It's quite relaxing, isn't it? Certainly more so than turning into a modern-day ghost story. Besides apparitions on these paths, we're always polite enough to wait till after the bedtime stories were done. The stars above twinkle with a brightness that seems almost otherworldly. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens, a river of light in the inky blackness, a constant guide in an ever-changing world. You wonder if the ancient voyagers wished upon these sparkling stars, or if they simply counted on them as faithful companions in their endless journeys. Tonight, though, you'll let those stars carry you to dreams as well, feeling the gentle lull of the ocean beneath, and the whispered history of navigators past in your ears. You know this voyage, imaginary as it might be, is one you'll remember with a smile. With this thought, you close your eyes, letting the rhythm of the waves carry you into a restful night, spirits forgotten, and dreams awaiting the next part of the journey. You watch as the sun starts to nudge its sleepy head above the horizon, casting long, graceful beams across the water silver as a teapot that's seen a bit of polishing. The waves gently lap against the bow of your sturdy Waka, the traditional Māori canoe, whispering promises of adventure in your ears. To your right, a crewmate mutters something about the sea being silver at dawn. You nod in agreement, feeling the soft breeze play with your hair. The sea here isn't just a vast expanse of blue like the world often imagines. It's as varied as a chameleon's moods. You can't help but think how everything feels more alive out here, more vibrant. A juvenile gull cries overhead. You shield your eyes and spot its white wings cutting through the morning sky. For a brief moment, you wonder about your own wings, or rather your feet, that have carried you to this point. Hopefully, your journey won't need any emergency flapping about. You grin at the thought, stomach already rolling, though, not with seasickness, but with excitement for what this day might bring. The sea shifts in color here, a green glass, reflecting coral reefs hidden just beneath the surface. The stories of your elders come back to you in such moments, how they voyaged these waters in search of new lands, guided not only by the stars, but by their intimate relationship with the sea itself. You try to immerse yourself in that mindset, seeing the world as they did every hue of the ocean, a sign or a message. Beside you, another seafarer confides their voice barely louder than the breeze. The coral's colors are even brighter in the noontime sun. Makes you wonder how anyone could miss them. You simply nod, acknowledging both the wisdom and whimsy in their words. It actually does make you wonder if those who sailed before had moments of doubt, questioning whether they might miss the small colors amidst the vast waters, just like you sometimes doubt if you'll miss spotting land when it rises from the distant horizon. Here in the waters near the river mouths, the sea turns a murky brown. It's a comforting earthy shade that reminds you of the familiar Wenua, the land you've left behind. This intersection of river and sea is alive with stories too, of fish jumping between worlds, and the delicate dance between salt and fresh water. You lean over the side of the Waka, peering into the deep. And for a moment you think you spot a flitting shadow of a fish darting between realms. But as always, you're left unsure, a fleeting moment that leaves you exhaling a breath you didn't know you were holding. Historians still debate whether Māori explorers could truly navigate such vast distances without modern tools. But standing here, feeling the Waka pulse with the heartbeat of the ocean beneath you, you find it hard to doubt. It's as if nature itself whispers ancient secrets to those willing to listen. As the day passes, you notice a change in the air. It's thick, almost tangible, carrying a new, more profound scent. Aha, you think that must be the whales. Indeed, ahead in the distance you can just make out the mighty forms breaching the surface. The sight is majestic, their presence more felt than seen, like old souls, roaming the ocean highways alongside you. Your companions watch in awe, and one begins to sing a soft waiata, a song of the sea. There's a reverence here, a quiet understanding that you're part of something greater. As you listen, you wonder if the whales recognize you too, acknowledging your shared journey across these ancient waters. Silver dawns may give way to green coral seas or brown silt-laden mouths, but one thing remains constant: the stories knit into each wave. You let yourself be lulled by this rhythm, knowing today is one of countless connected by history. You can almost hear the ancestors' laughter mingling with the sea breeze, reassuring you that you're right where you need to be. Lowering your gaze, you notice your hands gently gripping the sides of the canoe, steady and sure, just like those who sailed before. The sea holds mysteries indeed. And tonight, as the sun dips its glowing head back beneath the horizon, transforming water into liquid gold, you feel a bit like one of those old mariners, a keeper of stories ready to pass them along when the time is right. With a final deep breath, you let the day's tales ebb away, carried by the soft lull of waves, leaving behind only the whisper of tomorrow's promise. Coming back wasn't retracing steps. Winds had shifted, stars had moved. The Navigator sang a new path each way. You find yourself aboard a small ship navigating the open sea, the wooden deck beneath your feet, creaking softly with each wave. The air is crisp, carrying the salty tang of the ocean, and you can't help but breathe deeply, eyes scanning the horizon where water melts into sky. As the great explorers of the age of discovery must have felt, a sense of possibility tingles in the chilly mist. You glance at the Navigator, a weathered figure whose eyes are fixed upon the shifting stars. Ancient mariners relied on the stars far more than maps you recall, for the heavens were the most faithful of guides, or so they hoped. From the dark ocean's depths beneath to the star-speckled canvas above, you realize that everything around you is alive, with signs and signals, whispered secrets on the breeze. It's never quite the same journey, is it? The navigator murmurs almost to themselves, a small smile tugging at the corners of their mouth. You nod in agreement, understanding the constants of change, much like the shifting sands of history beneath the layers of time. Coming back to a destination is never the same as leaving it, you muse, echoing a sentiment shared by many historians. As the ship sails onward, the rocking motion becomes familiar, almost meditative. You think about how these early explorers faced uncertainties at every turn. The vast Atlantic, for instance, was not just a barrier but a bridge to new lands, a concept not settled even today. You find your thoughts weaving through tales of sea monsters, whispered on the damp, salty air, and speculative outlines of strange continents. Did they believe these, or merely use them to justify their fears? History records that European explorers brought with them to the New World not just ideas of trade and discovery, but surprises in the form of disease and conquest. Yet for all they knew, every return journey faced new beginnings. You feel a shiver, imagining the unseen threads of destiny looping through these storied ventures. Your reverie is broken by the soft call of an albatross overhead, a lone figure gliding gracefully against the dawning light. Its presence, a hopeful omen, according to sailors' lore, makes you smile. Or a dinner invitation, you chuckle to yourself, imagining the poor bird's bewildered face as it registers the hopeful eyes of the crew. Stars twinkle out one by one as dawn's light seeps into the sky, transforming it from black to a pellucid blue. The navigator is still singing his soft tune, a chant passed down through generations, perhaps guiding those who dared to trace a path across unmarked waters. You feel the smooth chill of the handrails as you gaze once more toward the blurred horizon, thoughts flowing like a river. The navigator's lyrical directions remind you of how oral traditions in many cultures preserve history more vividly than chronicles every note, a compass, every pause, a place to linger in curiosity. As the sun climbs higher, the sea shimmers in its light, a vast mirror stretching beyond sight. You smile, realizing that you are part of the age-old rhythm. Discovery is not just about physical journeys, but those taken by the mind and spirit. The story of humanity is as much about returning home, changed by what you've seen, just as the world you return to will have changed. I wonder, you say aloud, was coming back ever disappointing, or was it simply new? The navigator, far in their own reverie, raises an eyebrow, lips curved in a knowing smile. Both, perhaps. Isn't every step forward a small step back too? You nod, comforted by the thought that history, like the wind and stars tonight, is always moving, ever living. The rhythm of the waves pats gently against the hull of your canoe, a melodious dance echoing the songs and lore passed down through generations. In the faint light of early dusk, you trace your fingers over the intricate carvings of the wooden vessel, each etching telling a story older than memory. You're part of an ancient lineage of navigators, with knowledge spoken through chants and bird calls. The heavens serve as your map, the stirring salt-tinged wind your compass. You pause, gazing skyward, as stars begin to punctuate the darkening sky. Orion climbs above the horizon, its belt marking the path to follow. You wonder if those stars feel the weight of human hope clinging to them. Your companion Tahi leans in, pointing to a particularly bright star. Let that one guide our way tonight. He says, his voice blending with the sea's hum. You nod as if the star could hear and heed his request. You trace the ocean with your eyes, focusing on subtle swell patterns, seeking the consistency in their dance. You realize this isn't just a voyage through water, but a dialogue with all the elements around you. The moon, peeking through clouds like a shy accomplice, lights the way gently. You think about how historians debate whether these journeys were guided by instinct or learned precision. Uncertainty flashes briefly through your mind. What if you mistake the stars, the swells, the chants? Yet you exhale slowly, lips curling into a small smile, dismissing worries like sea foam on sand. It's comforting to know that even in times past, navigators like you found confidence amid uncertainty. Perhaps this is precisely why each bird call, each chant, is remembered with such reverence. A single lapse could mean a course altered disastrously, resulting in weeks adrift. A sudden squawk of a seabird draws your attention, breaking the tranquility. It's quiet again, and you feel the universe settling back into its serene rhythm. Even the constellations seem to whisper encouragement, reassuring you of their timeless presence. Sea and sky, one expansive theater, hide potential pitfalls, but also hedge against losing your way, providing signs if you know how to read them. The boat feels almost alive beneath you, like a faithful companion in these adventures. You think to yourself, slightly amused, that all it needs are legs, and it would run alongside you on land. The fragrance of ocean spray mingles with the scent of dried pandanus leaves woven into the sails overhead. It's in moments like these, when the world narrows to essential rhythms and sounds, that you understand the profound relationship formed between wayfinder and world. Tahi interrupts your reflections with a chuckle. Remember the time Toa thought that star was a comet and nearly took us in circles? You both laugh quietly, remembering how Toa sheepishly blended his mistake into a chant used to calm storms. You realize humor and humility may be just as vital on these voyages as the technical know-how and amusing thought, as you adjust to the celestial dance card etched in starlight above. A gentle headwind signals a change as the canoe moves gracefully onward. You imagine your ancestors casting their wisdom forward with each journey. The night deepens, urging your mind to further wander, to wonder at the mysteries beyond the starlit curtain. What rites and marks did others leave upon the night sky to tether the present to the past? You shrug away the heavier question. Knowledge is built on such fleeting thoughts after all. Drifting into a more peaceful rhythm, the canoe pushes on a solitary vessel cradled by the cosmos. The majesty of your surroundings begins to feel like a familiar lullaby. A land of sweeping watercolors and shimmering guides. Tonight's chapter in your long journey begins to draw to a close, just like the driftwood on which the stories of old were inscribed. And it's in this oceanic cradle where history's whispers and nature's heartbeat become one, that you continue your reverent voyage, singing with a heart full of silent oaths, your course steadfast beneath the moonlit sky. The night air is cool as you glide silently across the darkened waters. The faint crescent moon casts shimmering trails upon the gentle waves. You find yourself seated in a sleek wooden canoe, a waka, that seems as alive as the gentle current that cradles it. The air smells faintly of fresh wood and the salty breath of the sea. Stars flicker above like ancient navigators, their light punctuated by the occasional distant splash. From beneath the surface, perhaps, a curious fish or a mischievous spirit of the sea. Creaks and small whispers of sound rise from the craft, a language of its own that invites you to listen closely. Crews of old knew this too well, muttering to each other about how a well-crafted waka could speak to its oarsmen. That's right. Canoes with attitudes imagine complaining about the GPS when you're paddling. It could revolt mid-ocean. You're not entirely sold on the idea until the hull shifts softly beneath you, as if adjusting its course in silent conversation with the tides. The stars above form constellations that ancient navigators used, some named after birds, others after mighty forces. Historians still debate whether these celestial guides were taught by wise elders or discovered by daring explorers. But one thing is certain: to move with the ocean demands more than sight. It requires a heart tuned to the winds and waters. The waka moves with a presence as if it has opinions of its own, intimately understanding the path, even before it's voiced in full by the captain, an awe-inspiring dance between human and craft. As the waka nudges slightly left, your skin tingles with an awareness of its intent. It's almost magical, the way such an ancient vehicle can communicate direction without uttering a word. The water laps at the sides, sending gentle ripples that catch the moon's glow. You chuckle, remembering a thought that strikes with soft irony. It's like the waka has been to therapy, has fantastic boundaries, and knows exactly how to avoid rocky relationships. The waka tells you when to shift. It does this not through deity or divine spark, but through simple wise creaks within its joints and the currents caressing its sides. Listen, it seems to whisper. Not listening isn't an option. Or perhaps it is if you fancy an unscheduled appointment with a coral reef. You wonder how many spirits have spoken to their canoes under these very skies, feeling the same pull from the stars and push from the earth. They would have known these waters and listened to their canoes with a patience sometimes lost in the bustling silence of the modern world. The calm swathes of water seem endless, pushing you to a tranquil surrender. You inhale deeply and realize that these crafts have always been more than mere vehicles. They are living chronicles, custodians of stories, whispered across generations. Each groove in the wood has a tale, each paddle stroke a chapter of its own. As you lean back, allowing the gentle sway to ease the tensions from your shoulders, the boat's subtle shifts mirror your own rhythmic breathing. The gentle sound of water licking wood is a soothing lullaby setting a pace that would make even the wind pause in admiration. Just like those who long ago sought guidance from the dialogue between wood and water, you are participating in a heritage, a lineage. You feel deep within your bones stories etched into not only the waka, but you as well. You place your hand over the side, letting your fingers trail through the coolness of time itself, your heartbeat aligning with the ancient pulse of the ocean, losing yourself gently in its timeless song. You can feel the sway of the ship beneath your feet as you lean on the wooden railing eyes, squinting against early morning sun, glistening off the endless waves. The sound of seawater lapping against the ship's hull is your constant companion, a backdrop to weeks spent scanning the horizon. And then, in what seems like a dream, after such a long voyage at sea, you notice a piece of driftwood bobbing lazily on the water surface. It's a small, seemingly insignificant sight, but it catches your breath. Beside you, one of your shipmates, a cheerful soul with a bushy beard, and eyes that always seem to twinkle with some hidden amusement, points toward the drifting wood and chuckles. "You're looking at our first good omen in weeks, my friend," he says. You can't help but smile, though part of you sarcastically wonders if this bit of waterlogged timber really has all the powers of prophecy. There's an energy on deck that hasn't been there in days. It spreads quickly, infectiously among the crew. Conversations become animated. Shoulders slumped from weeks of labor and longing straighten with renewed vigor. It's clear to you that this isn't just about the driftwood. It's about survival, about rediscovering hope after weeks of uncertainty. You remind yourself that historically, the discovery of land from the ocean's vastness has always been a momentous occasion, celebrated across cultures and centuries. As the hours pass, you begin to notice more signs. A lone seabird making determined circles above the masthead. Its squawk pierces the air, a sound that feels like a benediction. "There she is, bless her little wings," whispers a sailor, his voice full of reverence. The bird seems to look at you, appraising perhaps, or simply curious. You aren't quite sure if it's a scout for a looming land mass or just lost like the rest of you, but you find yourself thankful for its presence nonetheless. With time, you also catch a barely perceptible change in the air, that gentle yet unmistakable scent of earth, of rich greens and fertile soil carried off by a zephyr from somewhere beyond sight. Some historians claim sailors of old could detect land from this olfactory change well before any other sign appeared. You inhale deeply, wondering if it's your mind playing tricks, or if this is indeed the aroma of your salvation. As the sun begins its descent, casting an amber glow across the horizon, the crew breaks into song. It's a tune you've heard them hum before, something haunting yet hopeful, and you find yourself humming along too, your heart lifting with each note. Music, you think, is the universal language of wanderers and dreamers alike. It echoes across time, across centuries, uniting those who have dared to traverse the unknown just like you. The ship's captain joins you, his weathered face softened by the golden light. Almost there, he states certainty etched in every word. You nod, feeling the weight of his assurance, marveling at the resilience it must take to guide a vessel through such an unpredictable expanse. You know that the annals of history are filled with tales of captains and crews who never returned. You try not to dwell on that thought, instead choosing to focus on the here and now. As the soft lull of evening envelops the ship with only the rhythmic chant of the sea as your serenade, your mind drifts momentarily. You think of those who have made similar journeys before you, venturing into the unknown, with just the stars as their compass. Some historians still debate whether ancient mariners undertook their voyages with maps, or simply trusted the wisdom of the skies. Either way, you feel an inexplicable kinship with them, an unbroken thread of courage spanning generations. You close your eyes, breathing in the gentle night air, and find comfort in the thought that by morning you might finally see it, the elusive land of promise, the magical place that has pulled you and your fellow voyagers across the vast, enigmatic ocean. For now, though, you allow yourself to drift on the edge of sleep, lulled by the ship's soothing sway, and dream of the adventures that await just beyond the horizon's veil. As you drift gently on the water's mirrored surface, the sky above you grows dark, like some celestial artist accidentally spilled ink across a canvas of stars. You tip your head back, trying to watch each flicker of light slowly recede into the dense blackness. This is not a cause for alarm, you remind yourself, but rather a dance you have seen before. Anchored in silence, the vastness of the ocean cradles you, its soft lull a reminder of reliance. And the sky invariably loses its temper, only to rediscover its stars. Your world moves with the rise and fall of the sea, an undulating rhythm that matches the deep breaths you exhale in unison with its whispering waves. The famed explorers of history must have felt this same defiance against fate, you muse, wondering if Magellan ever found himself reassuring his crew with similar thoughts as they drifted into uncharted realms. Historians still debate whether he grew tired of the same old constellations, or if the prospect of new skies was simply too tantalizing. Feeling the soft rolling rock of the boat beneath your tired limbs, you allow your mind to wander. The ancient Phoenicians once sailed these waters with a casual confidence that defied the limited maps of their time, guiding themselves under the watchful eyes of gods they believed lingered in the heavens. Today's sailors crack jokes about GPS not needing sacrificial offerings to function well most of the time. Yet here you are surrounded by the same vast, unyielding blue depths that carried tales of tumultuous storms, unexpected lands, and endless horizons seeking to be discovered. A breeze shifts gentle and persistent, and it reminds you that not even the biggest of tempests lasts forever. You imagine an ancient mariner standing in your place, salt-crusted beard, hiding a bemused smile as he contemplates the unpredictability of the skies. You chuckle softly, the sound carried off by the wind, your own private moment shared with no one but the sea. The darkness deepens, and your trust truly begins its test. With no stars or moon to guide you, shut your eyes and let the tactile tapestry of the ocean's voice wrap around you, its whispered secrets reaching your ears with a soothing familiarity. It's the kind of night where the routine simplicity of trust feels like an unspoken agreement. I'll remember you as long as you remember me. Your thoughts drift slowly, like the sailors of history, who often relied on the safe haven of humor during long voyages. A jaunty comment here, a mischievous grin there, keeping spirits afloat as much as any vessel. You can almost hear the murmurs of camaraderie from ages past, a chuckle from Homer's sailors, perhaps making light of the siren's song, even with their ears stuffed with wax. As the hours stretch and the sea sings its unending lullaby, you find yourself swaying between waking reality and the gentle pull of dreams. Slowly, the inky sky begins to thin, and you feel a warmth softening the chill of night. The sky, as if remembering the task it nearly forgot, begins its gradual metamorphosis. With the first hesitant hues of dawn painting the horizon, you wonder about souls like Captain Cook, who stood in the decks of his ship at similar times. Was he at peace watching the dawn approach, or was he too busy dispensing dry wit, like rationed biscuits to a groggy crew? One could only hope he remembered to cheerfully remind everyone that if the sea claimed them at least, they wouldn't need to worry about the monotony of shipboard meals anymore. The light slowly spills from the horizon, returning the palette of colors to the skies, coaxing it into waking, as gently as a mother nudging a child from slumber. You stretch muscles, whispering their stiff protest. But there's a sense of the familiar routine here. It's the gradual turning of time that reassures the anchor, that holds steady even as the world shifts around it. You look out across the ocean now, illuminated by this tender wash of dawn. Light touches everything, painting the gentle arcs of waves in shimmering silver, promising the return to normalcy, to those well-known patterns of day and night. Your heart warms with a subtle appreciation for the predictability of the ocean's embrace, just as those before you did. They found solace in these moments, a brief, comic relief to break the solemn journey. With a quirk of a smile, you remember the old sailor's adage, passed down through centuries. Red sky at night sailors delight. Red sky and morning sailors take warning. You can almost hear the aged voice of an experienced deckhand teasing such sayings as unneeded guidance into gathering their rainwear, no matter the prediction. And perhaps they would have been right. The sky, like some contrite sentry, returning to guard post, opens its arms to you once again, with clouds now glowing pink, golden, and soft beyond the once terrifying black. You relax muscles unwinding, taking a moment to relish the calm you've found in the embrace of sea and sky, where mysteries cradle memories, and the anchor holds fast against the pull of the unknown. As the day stretches lazily ahead, you anchor yourself in this silence, where anticipation for what lies beyond the visible horizon stirs softly within you. The ocean rocks you with a comfort akin to a nursery rhyme's refrain, its vastness a gentle reminder nestled beneath your skin. Here your journey lives, breathing alongside you within the stories carried on the wind, and you indefinitely grounded by the timeless dance between sea and sky. The sound of waves fills the night air as you sit by a crackling fire. Its warmth radiates through the dark, pulling you closer to a realm where stories wander like ghostly ships over moonlit waters. The old sailor beside you begins to speak, his voice as weathered as the ancient maps folded in his pockets. Every journey, he says, as you lean a little forward, leaves its mark not on the sea itself, for it is too vast and ever-changing, but on us, on those who remember. You imagine his tales as chants sung to grandchildren, nestled in their beds, their imaginations painting pictures on the dark canvas of night. The sailor's successes become legends, etched not on any map, but within the very breath shared, whispered from one generation to the next. I once sailed with a man, the sailor continues, just as a gentle breeze teases at the flames, who said he saw islands of pure gold. His eyes sparkled every time he spoke of them. You find it hard to resist a chuckle, the image of shimmering islands popping vividly into your mind. Although you wonder, did he see them while wide awake, or drifting in a forgotten dream? Perhaps the sea's allure is in part the promise of mysteries. It holds back, revealing them only to those who dare venture further. In truth, historians still debate whether these fabled places were ever sighted, or merely figments of maddened minds tamed by salt and solitude. The sea, indifferent to human desire, offers no clues, only waves that erase paths as soon as they're made. However, your storyteller insists, legends, myths, songs, they leave stronger marks than any tempest. As he speaks, your gaze drifts to the horizon, where the line between water and sky blurs into endless possibility. You feel your breath sinking with the gentle lull of the waves. Before your eyes, the stars twinkle in the black velvet sky, echoing the countless stories untold, still waiting to find their voices. Imagine, if you will, those early voyagers, setting sail with no modern comforts to guide them. Their reliance on the stars and daring instinct fills you with awe. A single wrong calculation could spell disaster. You almost hear a voice, a fragment of dialogue from the past carried upon the wind. The stars may shine here tonight, but they keep their secrets tightly wound. Ever wonder what happened to those brave souls? The sailor's question floats close, pulling you back. His voice has hints of mischief that matches the twinkle in his eyes. Some say those who didn't return turned into merfolk living beneath the waves. Your imagination plays with the thought of travelers deciding to swap their human limbs for fins, rather than face the sea's unpredictable wrath. The truth, amusing as it may be to picture men with fishtails, is not as whimsical. Many, after months or even years spent adrift, belonged more to the ocean than they did to any land. You shiver despite the fire, realizing how those same waves could be both a life-giving embrace and a perilous abyss. Around you, shadows deepen, but the memory of each crack in the sail, each groan of the wood, under the strain of the journey, sings in the sailor's words. Every shout exchanged over the wind, every shared bite of stale bread on the rough sliding deck remains alive in these nighttime echoes. And always above the deep songs of the oceans were the tales of survival. After all, you think, as you rest against the smooth, warm curve of a rock behind you, nothing enthralls quite like the idea of staring eternity in the eye and living to tell the tale. So, under the veil of stars, stories continue to breathe. Like this night, colored by firelight and ancient voices, a quiet moment yet bursting with the endless adventures recounted by those who dare. Dim the lights settle into the rhythmic dance of distant waves and dream of worlds yet to be discovered. As the sea knows and storytellers record, the journey is just beginning. As you close your eyes, you find yourself aboard a wooden ship, ancient yet sturdy against the vast ocean. The air is a blend of salt and mystery, and you walk across the deck, covered with etches of past voyages, each line a testimony of survival. Tonight's sky, a grand tapestry of starlight, almost overwhelms you with its beauty and its cold indifference. It's hard not to feel small under this canopy, but there's a comfort in knowing that humans have trusted these celestial bodies for thousands of years. You think back to the days of the early Polynesians, those master navigators who sailed the Pacific long before compasses and charts. They read the stars like a story, each constellation an ancient beacon. You gaze at the same constellations they did, and your shoulders relax slightly against the ship's cool wooden railings. It's almost arrogant to imagine stepping into their sandals, yet here you are, bones at ease, mind adrift. Cannily you note the surrounding crew as they work, their hands, busy faces determined, and a faint hint of reverence in how they treat the sails as if they are whispering old secrets. We listen to the stars. One of them says, without breaking his rhythm of knotting ropes, his voice melding with the sea. You almost laugh, thinking how much easier Alexa has made your life. You wonder if they ever truly believed a wayward star might suddenly refuse to shine, decide one night to take a rest. Yet as if on cue, their voices rise in a low chant, harmonizing with the wind, a reminder of when music itself was a navigation tool. Historians still debate whether ancient mariners like these relied solely on stellar guides, or if they possessed other secrets. Some argue they read the ocean's surface-mapped winds by their breath, or communicated with birds, those fellow travelers. You peer upwards, half expecting a seagull to start offering flight tips like an avian travel agent. Despite the debates, there's something deeply humbling in knowing the greatest adventures unfolded under such quiet, determined skies. You journey on through waters, illuminated not just by stars, but by belief, a clarity of purpose, and a faith in returning. Below-deck candlelit quarters reveal tales of shared humanity. Sketches line the wooden walls. Maps, ships, foreign lands, all whispers from the past. You trace the line of a rough carving dated long, long ago. Now this is where a GPS feature would come in handy, right? But no such algorithm could compete with the raw power of the human spirit, able to cross oceans with nothing more than sheer will. In this dim glow, you can almost feel time ripple around you. How many feet have crossed these boards, leaving behind dreams and fears in equal measure? Nearby, two shadows converse in hushed tones about a coming storm. Their voices carry a casual assurance, perhaps born from years at sea. You strain to remember, was it bravery or madness that drove them eastward or westward? The journey itself is not without its lighter moments. A snore breaks the silence emanating from a corner, and you chuckle, imagining you're not the only one, surprised you can sleep in this swaying wooden cradle amidst nature's lullaby. You silently thank modern beds that don't rock with every shift in the wind or wave. Listening to the soft lap of water against the hull, you imagine the vastness of their ambitions. The stars above, forever constant, will always be their light, just as our ancestors trusted them. The bird's flight continues unburdened by the need for land, and the ocean's depths echo with stories long untold. These are the rhythms, the heartbeats of ages past, reminding you that some things are eternal. And so wrapped in the comfort of this nighttime adventure, you let yourself drift. Present yet timeless, with each breath a pause between dawns. Your thoughts quiet, your dreams vast as the ocean. You navigate, finding solace in the simple, the intangible. The day begins to fade. As subtle shifts in daylight transform the sea into a vast mirror reflecting the comedic dance of clouds above. You stand still, letting the sensory symphony quiet your thoughts. Like the ancient navigators, you hang your dreams on the horizon and forget about the demands of tomorrow, knowing tonight is enough. In the depths of your mind, where this journey etched itself, even the contours of fear and doubt begin to blur against the clarity of history's steady tide. You smile softly, grateful for this brief encounter with a world so intimately wild and familiar. As you unfurl under the weightless stars, you acknowledge the enduring pulse of our shared heritage. The gentle lilt of waves lulls you further as the sea whispers sweet nothings, a lullaby timeless. Tonight, under the cosmic atlas and enveloped in salt-scented breaths, you find yourself anchored not just upon this restless sea, but within a legacy steadfast as stone. In this cherished memory place, amidst echoes of what was and what will be, you finally let go.